A top pattern that only takes 2 hours to sew. I like it so much that I have sewn it 6 times so far. Hello everyone, welcome to Sharon Sews, a channel where we talk all about sewing and fashion. The top pattern that I'm talking about is the Style Arc Joan Woven top. This is indeed an easy top to sew, and it's very versatile depending on the fabrics that you choose. I have discovered over the past couple years, when I've sewn 6 of them, it is the one I reach for most often when I have a pair of jeans on and I don't feel like wearing a t-shirt to go run errands. It's my casual go-to top. Super comfy, but a little bit more style than most t-shirts. Let me tell you a little bit about the pattern before we get into the 6 that I've sewn. The Joan Woven top comes in sizes 4 to 30, and I would recommend choosing the size that you want to sew based on the finished garment measurements which are provided. Many of the Style Arc patterns do provide finished garment measurements, which I really like that when pattern companies do that. It helps me to determine what kind of fit I want, as well as what size I want to start with. If you've been following my channel for any length of time or following me on Instagram, you know that almost always I need to do a full bust adjustment. By having those finished garment measurements available for me, I can determine what size I want to start with, if I need a full bust adjustment, and how much of one I need to have. What I discovered for the Style Arc pattern is I didn't need to do a full bust adjustment. All of mine that you're going to see today, I started with a size 10. I graded out to a 12 at the hip area. You will also see your fabric choices are going to make a difference in the way it sits on you. If you're using a softer fabric like a rayon challis, it's going to have a nice soft drape to it. If you use something with a little more structure, like maybe a quilting cotton or even a heavier linen, it's going to show that boxy shape a little more. The design of the top, it is a pullover top, no buttons, no zippers. That's one reason it's so easy to sew. It has an extended shoulder line and there is a band at the bottom of that sleeve. The hem dips down slightly in the back and it finishes with a wide hem facing. I love that. You will discover if you sew Style Arc patterns that there are a number of their top patterns that do have the wide facing at the bottom. I just think it's a nice finish inside. It also helps the top to sit nicely when you wear it. The instructions for the V-neck are very good and you're going to be able to get a nice crisp V at the center front. That's because the pattern piece, that front pattern piece, does have a seam down the front. That front seam has a tiny little notch up at the neckline that you sew up to a dot. You do need to mark that carefully, sew that dot carefully, and that is what's going to help you produce that really nice, crisp, sharp V-neck. One thing to note, I think the V-neck on this is really low. Just keep that in mind when you sew yours. Let's look at the 6 I sewed. The first one I sewed is this burnt orange one. I sewed it back in October of 2021. I picked up the fabric at Walmart. It was one of those pre-cut bundles, and I think I might have paid $6 for 2 yards. I picked up the fabric because I did want to test the pattern. Going by the finished garment measurements, it looked like I would just be able to sew it without a full bust adjustment, and that's what I was testing. I sewed it up, I liked it, and I am still wearing it today, 3 years later. The only thing about the fabric is that it wrinkles terribly when it's washed. So whenever I wash the top, I do have to iron it before it can be worn, which is not a big deal because I love to iron. The next one I sewed was in December of 2021, and this is out of a stretch velvet with a little bit of glitter on it that I picked up at Hobby Lobby locally. I sewed a matching pair of wide leg pants. I sewed it to wear to a women's holiday event that was happening at a local church. On this black one, I did raise the neckline by 1 inch and I shortened the top by 1.5 inches. I will say I do like the top, but I don't wear it unless I wear it with the wide leg pants. I like the look together. I don't like the top separately. Then a couple months later, in February of 2022, I sewed another one. The fabric was a rayon crepe from Style Maker Fabrics. Definitely one of my favorites. It has gotten a lot of wear. I sewed it to take along with us on a vacation that we were taking to Florida to visit family. While I was there in Florida, I was interviewed by Sue with Suki Sews on her live at the Beehive, and I'm wearing that top. I do remember we were in the car, completely unfamiliar with traffic in Florida. And where we were staying versus where Sue lived on the map didn't look like it was going to be that bad, but it took us a very long time. So what happened is I got there with minutes to spare before we were going live, so I didn't have time to change. That's okay. It wasn't about what I was wearing anyway. It was about our conversation together. If you haven't seen that, I'm going to link that because that was kind of a fun chat that we had. After sewing 3 of them, I waited more than a year before I sewed another one. This next one is a tropical print rayon challis that I purchased at Fabric Mart Fabrics. I have a note that I went down a size on this one. I guess I was thinking the other ones were way oversized. I don't remember why I went down a size, but I have a note that I went down a size and I removed the sleeve band on it. I ended up not liking it. I felt like it was too close of a fit. Turns out I like the oversized look after all. And it's not in my closet any longer, so I suspect I donated it because of the fit. In October of 2023, I sewed another one. This is a viscose voile. It was a roll end from Emma One Sock. Oh, don't you just love the print on this? I'll be honest with you, when I wear this one around town running errands, it never fails to draw a compliment from somebody. It's just such an eye-catching print, and it's rapidly becoming my favorite over the blue one. Because my size, I only need about 1 3/8 yard of 60-inch wide fabric. Those roll ends at Emma One Sock work really well. Well, after sewing that one, I waited almost a year before I sewed 2 more. You know, the thing is, every time I would put that one on, I'd tell myself, I really need to sew another one because I'm wearing this way too often. So the end of August, beginning of September 2024, I sewed myself 2 more. This bright tropical print is a linen rayon blend that I purchased from S.R. Harris. I did raise the neckline on this one by 1 inch, and I did make some shorts to go along with it. The pattern for the shorts is the Albie woven shorts, and I did lengthen the inseam on that because I felt like they were a little bit short. This is not something that I'm going to wear now that it's fall, but it's ready if we do indeed take a vacation to someplace warm this year. And I will say, if you look at the photo, the linen rayon blend doesn't have as much drape and movement as some of the other ones. That may change as it gets washed more often. I'm hoping it softens up a bit. And the last one I have sewn so far is rapidly becoming another favorite. This one was sewn out of a cotton rayon voile that I purchased from Emma One Sock, and it was left over from another project. I had sewn a sewing workshop shirt using those 2 fabrics, and I had just enough left that I didn't want to donate it or toss it. So I tucked it in my closet, and I thought, why can't I just color block it? Color blocking is so popular. As you can see, one color in the front and the back and the sleeve bands are another color. This one I added interfacing on the sleeve band purely by accident. It was one of those evenings where I was cutting out things. I was cutting out interfacing. I was fusing interfacings. You know, sometimes when you just got 30 minutes or 45 minutes or maybe even an hour, I do things in sections, and that's what I did. I don't know why I added interfacing to the sleeve bands, but I did. And because I did not have more fabric, I just left it that way. It was an accident, but it works. The Joan Woven top, my favorite casual 2-hour to sew pullover top. Now that I've sewn it for 6 times, it's time to start hacking this pattern. I have 3 hacks that I'm working on, and I will definitely share them with you on this channel. As always, if you found the video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. You know I appreciate a subscribe. Until I see you in the next video, I hope you have a blessed day. Happy sewing. Most Style Arc patterns do have the finished... What did I just say? I don't know if I said that right.